All right. Hello, everyone. We are getting into the webinar right now. We are really excited to have an expert panel with us today about future-proof your business with these expert tips, especially as we prepare for the 2025 season. So we're really excited. But just to start, go ahead down into the bottom of your Zoom screen and open up that chat feature. What we would like you guys to do is go ahead and jump in there, and we would love to see where you guys are from, your name, what's your position, what's your company, just to kind of get a feel of everybody in here today. We'll start in a few minutes. All right. And if you guys look at the bottom there in your chat, you guys can switch from host and panelist to everyone. That way we can all interact here in the chat. So as we get started, again, go ahead and drop that information in. We are going to hear from some of our experts today. And just to kind of do an icebreaker, Chad, Danny, and Ryan, where was your favorite on-site visit this past year as we look back on 2024?
I guess I'll start off there. Like she said, my name's Chad. Favorite on-site visit that I went to this year, I was in the Calgary area, and then I ended up going out to Banff out there. So beautiful spot of the Canadian country.
Awesome. I just saw there's a few people in here from Canada, so that's great.
Oh, cool.
Danny, where was your favorite trip this past year?
I was able to go up to Toronto area and had a great on-site visit up there. First time going up to Canada, actually. And then my wife's family's from Buffalo, so we were able to go to Buffalo after that for a Bills game. So it was nice to spend a whole week out there.
That's awesome. I love that. And Ryan, where was your favorite trip this 2024?
My favorite trip I expect will be this coming week. No offense to the mainland, but we got our first ever contract to Hawaii. So I actually leave tomorrow to head out there.
Oh, I love that. That's going to be amazing. It's going to be a lot better than the weather here in Omaha today with the cold and the snow coming. I'm sure a lot of you guys also have snow coming. And Danny from Michelle, go Bills.
Yeah, there we go. Go Bills.
Love
Go
that.
Bills.
Awesome.
Bills fan.
Yeah. We're about up to 47 participants so far, so we're going to give it just another minute. Again, for anyone that joined, please go down to the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. Open up that chat feature. Make sure you have the 2 at the bottom from host and panelists and switch it to everyone so we can all interact here today. And go ahead and drop where you're from and your name and your company. And we'll get started here in just a moment. Okay, so to start, we have 3 of our on-site consultants with us here today. We are really excited to talk about the 2025 season, really getting future-proof for our business, making sure that we have all the tips in mind when we're talking about lead management, project management, financial management. So what we're going to do right now is we're just going to have a little intro from all 3 of our on-site consultants just to get to know who they are before we really dive in. So Chad, I'm going to turn it to you real quick.
Yeah, like she said, my name's Chad. I've been with the on-site team coming up on 2 years. I think I just did my 37th or 38th trip this last week in the Los Angeles area. And fun fact or some hobbies that I enjoy, playing hockey, wakeboarding, wake surfing, that type of stuff.
Love it. And Danny.
Yeah, so my name's Danny Paletna. Been at Buildertrend for about 4 years. Been doing on-site consulting for about 2 years now. I did get married this year. Kate wants me to tell everybody that I've known Kate since I was like 3 years old. We went to preschool together.
Way back.
Like to ski and golf. I lived out in Denver for a while, so I loved skiing up there and golfing and listening to my wife.
Beautiful. And Ryan.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I am the man with 2 first names, Ryan Daniel. If you ever come to Buildertrend to come to PTU, you'll meet quite a few Ryans. I am the fun one. In college, I used to skydive. I retired, quote unquote, with just under 100 jumps. And my new hobby is motorcycle racing. Think less dirt bike and think more like MotoGP style, if you're familiar. Yeah, I've been with Buildertrend for, just over 3 years now. Been doing on-site consulting for about 2.5 years. And Next week to Hawaii will be my 50th visit.
What a 50th trip.
Yeah,
Wow.
milestone.
Very much a milestone. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and kind of set some just kind of ground rules a little bit, just so we all know how we can interact and have a really great webinar today. So again, you have the chat feature at the bottom of your screen. We highly encourage you guys to use that throughout the webinar. Please feel free to interact with each other, comment back and forth. But we do have a section at the end for QA with our 3 experts today. There is a QA feature just a little bit over from that other chat button. Make sure you open that up. So if you have any questions directly for Chad, Danny, and Ryan, we would love for you guys to submit them there so we can make sure that they're answered at the end of that session. Again, it's just at the bottom of your screen, a little bit on the right side, I believe. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, today we're talking about all things 2025, preparing for the season, future-proofing your workflows, and making sure that you guys are going to be successful from the get-go. We're going to be talking about lead management, project management, and financial management. So right now we're going to kick it over to Chad, who's going to talk all things lead management.
Yeah.
Take it.
Cool. Let me get my Buildertrend account shared here real quickly. Oops. And here we go. So just talking a bit about some lead management stuff. So one of the major problems or the major issues that we run into, or a lot of builders are having, is just the tracking of these prospective sales leads. That'd be what stage they're in, where the sales people are at for those particular items, and even if they filled out all that different information for the particular clients. So what I like to try to accomplish would be setting up different dashboards or different reports that we're able to then quickly look at a glance to see where we're at for all of these prospective clients. So this is my demonstration account that we're looking at inside of here. Filled out a couple of different quick ones, such as our client form, our client intake form being completed. Have we collected that deposit? How much that deposit amount was for? And then as we scroll over here, if there's any commission that would be owed to these salespeople. So the nice thing about the sales module is it's not a one size fits all. This can be applicable for teams that do a small number of builds or a really high volume in regards to sales. So whether we have, a sales team of 10 different people who are actively looking out for these jobs, or whether we do only referral-based work, all of this stuff inside of here can be applicable. Then additionally, what we can do and set up for those sales leads would be different activity templates or a different sales cadence that we can work with, going through the prospective clients, making sure that once again, the touch points are the same. Everything's going to be uniform across it. It doesn't matter which salesperson is reaching out to them. We're going to have standard messaging. We're going to have standard documentation, all that type of stuff that is going to really transform the business. Oftentimes, people, they are not aware from a top-down or a management perspective on what really is coming up in the pipeline. With the different tools inside of here, we are able to easily then see what actually is coming up, what's going to be coming to fruition. Do we maybe even need to take on more people on our team in order to handle this volume of work that we're going to be having inside of here? So really, once again, we go from the top down in regards to the management, seeing, what exactly we have or what exactly is going to be happening here in the future. And then from a granular level on the salesperson itself, they can go in and manage their day-to-day, see an actual activity calendar of what's going to be happening for this week, where their outreach needs to be, what emails need to be sent, and tracking all that stuff. So all these different dashboards could then easily be toggled when we're going inside of here, going from a standard one to then more of a custom report view like this. And let's see, the other thing that the sales program that we like to teach at Buildertrend is utilizing what we refer to as the proposal template here for actually capturing that signature. So for builders who are using a 2-contract sales process, this proposal template, you can send that out to capture that initial deposit. We can collect that signature directly from the client. And then if you're utilizing the Buildertrend payment processing side of it as well, we can take that deposit right away, require that deposit be paid upon that first signature, and then we would be able to start that design or that build process.
Awesome. I love that. Any other final tips for the sales and lead management side, Chad?
I think that one of the most important tips is just the utilization of it. Once again, a lot of people, they're using sticky notes. They have follow-up reminders on Outlook. They have, 100 different things going on for it. The more data that you put into Buildertrend, the more that you're going to get out of it and the more that it's going to work for you. So documenting everything inside of here so that you can always reference it again in the future.
Love that. And I think that's something that, like you said, people overlook is just that ability to, as long as you're putting your information into the program, you're going to be able to get those reports out of there to really see what's going on, what the month looks like, what the past year looks like as you're reflecting and building and comparing 2024 to 2025. So I think that is great advice to, start this today at least, for sure. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan Daniel. Ryan is going to be talking about our project management efficiency. And again, if you do have questions for our speakers at all, please go down to the QA feature and we'll answer all of those at the end. Thank you.
All right. Hello, everybody. Quick glimpse of me and my free time here before we get over to Buildertrend. I'm going to be talking about the project management side of things. And really, I want to share this example that I kind of had, and it speaks to a couple of different things a couple of the big benefits that we have on the project management side. So if you are not utilizing templates currently, this is going to be the biggest thing you can set up to, future-proof your business. And I say this because it's going to save you not only a lot of time, but it's going to help communication. It's going to help standardize your processes and the way people are doing things and the information they're putting into Buildertrend. The benefits are just numerous. I recently worked with a company, which is kind of a unique case out of Michigan. They actually build and produce lockdown systems for schools and other public spaces. And I wanted to show this because templates can be built for any type of builder, no matter what you do, whether you're remodel, production, fully custom, semi-custom, these templates can apply to everybody. Now, this company specifically had a few different product lines, and they were having trouble tracking, what stage each product was in, whose ball or whose court the ball was in. They were kind of losing time, just wasting days waiting for people to get their job done. And their sales team never really knew where the gaps were. So we spent an entire day setting up this template, and it seems kind of simple, but it accomplished a lot. So you can kind of see we've color coded, every product line that they had, and they can see the timelines. And this helped a lot of things. So let's see here. So in the template level, we can do not only set up templates, but we can also set up to-dos. Sorry, kind of lost my place here. So no, setting up templates is going to set up consistency and standardization. Templates are going to ensure that all projects follow that consistent structure and make it easier for team members to understand and adapt. It's going to create uniformity in documentation, processes, and reporting, reducing confusion and errors. It's going to save time. Templates are going to eliminate the need to recreate all of these things on every single job. Saving you clicks in the long term is going to add up over time. And not only are you saving time by not having to create these things on every single job, but this company specifically saved huge amount of time by knowing what stage all the products were in and who needs to be taking action at all times. This is going to also help improve communication. Having templates like this or having templates set up like this not only helped communication on the production side, but their sales team, like I said, was able to see all of the gaps and to kind of fill them accordingly, because sometimes they not only sell the whole system, maybe they sell bits and pieces and they can kind of fill in the gaps accordingly. This can also help, track milestones. If you are like a production builder, you can set up milestones as, big red schedule items, and you can have your to-dos assigned to it, set up like 30 days in advance saying, hey, are we going to hit all of these things? And at the end of the day, you're going to, all of this is going to help you reduce risk of oversight. having all of these important action items set up on the schedule and the to-dos is going to make sure that these things are getting checked off by all of our team members, and the management can kind of keep an eye on all this.
Love
So
it.
templates, there's a lot to talk about here. I want to go into like placeholders and all this other stuff, but I don't want to take up too much time today. I know we're kind of strict on the hour. So if you have questions, by all means, get with your account manager and we can talk templates all day long.
Love it. And I think that that is really a theme that we're hearing, not only in like today's, but in other webinars that we're a part of, other trainings that we do here at Buildertrend, is just that need for standardization. If you have a good standard process, a standard template that you use, you're gonna be able to create those repeatable processes, especially as we move to 2025. So everyone's on the same page. So thank you, Ryan. I do love templates too. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Let's turn it over to Danny. Danny is going to talk all things financial management and how Buildertrend can help you with that efficiency. So go
Yeah,
ahead, Danny.
so to kind of start off there, to back off of what you just said there, Kate, and kind of what Ryan was saying, templates are kind of the main driving factor of where we see the most success within Buildertrend, is having one, a schedule template and an estimate template are probably the two biggest things that we see the most successful people having within their program here. So working within the financial side, kind of where it starts in my mind, or first off, when they asked me to do this, they said, find a success story from one company that you've talked with and you want to discuss here today. I was thinking, wow, this is kind of hard, right? So what I did is I stepped back and I said, what are the successful people doing and what steps do they take and what are the commonalities between those? And what I really found was everybody has a solid estimate template. So this is just an estimate that I put together here for today's purposes, but there's many different ways that we can go about this, whether you have a blank template in here that you're just plugging numbers into, whether we have some kind of Excel formula that we put together that we're importing a template into here, or whether we're using our takeoff system here to kind of build these numbers out with our plans as well. But the main goal that we want to be able to get into is to get this built out. Another way that a lot of people are doing this estimate as well is are these bid packages here. So, and then there's when it comes to making a process, there's a little bit of a difference between whether we're bidding out before contract or whether we're bidding out after contract. And obviously to kind of get the most accurate numbers, bidding before contract is going to be the most beneficial for you there. And the nice thing about Buildertrend's tool of the bidding is we can open a bid package here and we can send these numbers out to our subs. So I sent framing lumber out to my Alpha Construction here. They were able to submit this number back to me, and I still haven't approved this bid or anything yet from them to tell Alpha Construction that I'm ready to go forward, but I am able to use those numbers within my estimate or within my contract that I'm presenting to the client. Okay. So then once you kind of get your estimate template set up, then you would include your markup, or you could do that as you're making it, but you want to make sure that you get everything marked up. And then we were to get it presented, let's say, to the client then approves it, whether they're approving that through Buildertrend or we're doing it in person and they're signing that contract in person. There's many different ways that you can build this out and customize it and make it presentable to your clients, with custom groups, with presenting either different aspects of the line items, showing all cost, just showing the marked up price, whatever it may be. There's many different ways to do it here. But kind of after we would get that contract signed, the one main thing that we see holds the subs true to those numbers, but kind of helps you guys project what's going to be on or what's coming within that project, is that committed cost column of our job costing budget, which is formulated by a purchase order system. So what a lot of people will do is they'll go in here and they'll find these bid packages after we've got to contract, right? So we got the numbers before contract, but after contract now we'll go in and we'll do a purchase order. We'll make that purchase order either with the numbers that the subs sent us, or if some things, obviously, we know some things are going to change, right? So you can update this PO manually down here, but we're going to take those numbers and we're going to turn them right back to the sub, and we're going to send for them to be approved all through email as well. Subs don't even need to be active for that. And then a nice thing that we'll do with this to kind of keep in touch with the scheduling system is these POs, you want to make sure that you're linking them to your schedule, so then it's all tied together. with the project management side of it as well. And if anything moves on that project management side of it, these dates will move as well too with these POs. Okay. From here, once we get the PO system made, then it really just comes into making sure that we're holding the people in the field accountable for getting us receipts. We're holding the subs accountable for getting us their invoices. And then our accounting person is being able to process those in a timely manner. So we have this cost inbox here. The cost inbox is used for everybody to kind of upload receipts to. Now you can see that I only have Home Depot stuff in here, but because that's linked to my debit card, so when I go into Home Depot, and my Pro Extra account will automatically shoot these receipts into Buildertrend for me. But obviously these can be manually uploaded as well, and all of you should be using this in my mind just to kind of track your receipts. This box back here, this cost inbox, is separate from any job. It's not tied to any specific job or anything, but it is a great place for everybody to keep track of their receipts instead of I can't tell you how many on-site visits I've come in and there's guys bringing stacks of receipts in and just throwing them over to the accountant and then being able to figure out where things go from there. With using this cost inbox, that gives one, it gets it all mobile, but then there's ways to put tags and different labels in here that can kind of help the accountant out as well too. So then once we kind of get this cost inbox, a nice thing about this is it can push directly to a bill on the job. Okay, so we'll push that to a bill, and then it's all going to make sense when it comes to our budget here. So then within our budget, we have our true numbers of what we should be hitting on the job. And then if we did any change orders, those will be updated as well too. So sorry about my internet being slow. But in this original budget here, so these are our original numbers that we send out for contract that the client approved for. And then if we do any change orders, let's see where I did my change order. So like on electrical here, we can see that we originally planned for 7,500 in our estimate, but then we did a change order. Allowance overages or selection overages will update this revised column as well too. But then we can kind of track those numbers and be true to them. So what's our original budget? Okay, now what are we expecting here? What do we have as a committed cost? So that's our purchase orders. And then once we get to this, once we actually get a bill into the program or on the purchase orders, you need to be making sure you put the bill towards that purchase order, the invoice from the subcontractor. Those numbers will come and they'll sit here in our actual cost. And we kind of move here and the rest of our budget will start to make sense with our projected cost. What's our cost to complete? What is our revised number against that projected number? Then we have some profit numbers in this green area. And then you can actually go into some different views down here and create some different views. And there's a nice portion in here that we'll have, it's called our blue section. And these will be, a lot of people will like to share this with their clients as well too, just to give them an update. Maybe not the full aspects of this, but we do have the options to at least show the client what their original price was with markup, what their revised price was with their change orders that they approved that includes a markup as well. And then if you make an owner invoice to them, it'll show how much you've invoiced here as well. The only last thing I would like to add to this is for the invoicing side of it, whether you're cost plus or whether you are going to be fixed price, we have both methods here. So if you're fixed price, you should be using our estimate to create your invoices. There's multiple ways you can do this, whether you're starting it from the actual invoice, you can add from estimate, or I've been trained to do it this way, so I feel comfortable doing it this way. You use the estimate here, and then you're able to create invoices up here on the right-hand side. And then you would be able to pick a specific amount that you want to invoice from those draws, and you can go line by line with this as well. But really, the reason that we use that estimate in a fixed price contract is those should be the numbers that we're invoicing the client. Unless there's a change order, we would have other ways to invoice that change order as well. But it holds true to those numbers and make sure there's no errors from the original numbers that we said we were going to be invoicing the client and the true numbers that we are invoicing them. Now with our cost plus jobs, it's very easy to make invoices on a true cost plus basis. You have your bills in here, and then you're able to checkbox up here, and then you can simply create an invoice. When you create that invoice, you'll have an option to add markup as well across all line items, or some people will have that where they enter a line item manually on the invoice itself. So, all right, I think we're about ready to do a Q&A session, or any last input, Kate?
Yeah, just about. Some questions are coming in. One of the, I think for me, like processing kind of what you were talking about, Danny, is the importance of the interconnectivity of financials within Buildertrend. And I love that you started with the estimate because like if I was a contractor or working with a contractor, it's knowing that my estimate is such a vital process that can really build the entire backbone of my financial success with my
Right.
company. And I love how you showed how it can be built from like in our pre-contract process with our bids and even connecting back to our sales, what Chad was talking about and making sure we have that contract process really solidified. So I love that you showed that because looking into 2025, if I don't have a good estimating process, I probably should put that as a big priority so that I can be successful with financial.
Right. And 100% on that. That's exactly where it starts in Buildertrend. Everything, just in construction, right? Everything starts with that estimate. Obviously, we have our sales side, but once we get down to the bulk of it, having that estimate and project kicked off, estimating is the key to everything in my mind.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. So we have some questions coming in. I do have just a couple kickoff questions. What do you guys see as when you guys are doing on-site visits or when you guys are working with different contractors? What are people's barriers to using templates? Like, do you hear common obstacles or barriers to that? And how do you consult them on the importance of templates even more?
I would say one of the major barriers that people have is that every job is completely different, which is true to an aspect. When we're utilizing our templates, we're aiming for about 70 to 80% accuracy. And then from there, once we actually import that template in, then we're going to correctly customize it for that particular job. So oftentimes people, they think that templates aren't as applicable, but there's no point in reinventing the wheel. Yes, the client is partially correct that, we are going to need to change the template around, but we might as well keep that 70% of it there. And that's true for both estimates, that's true for scheduling, that's true for really all aspects of the template itself.
Sorry, I agree with that 100%. I was on an on-site visit a couple of weeks ago, and that was the exact thing. Is my scope of work is so different in every single area that things are changing. And by the end of the on-site visit, I looked at him and said, so we could probably create some kind of bulk data that you have in here that you could be using. And it was like, yeah, we could. There's a little bit of data that we can use on every job. Even if we are giving all the aspects of it, there's data that we can delete off of those templates that we don't need for a specific job. But it's such a time saver to have that information in the beginning.
Yeah, and to even add to that, like a barrier sometimes is what can be templated. So beyond your schedule, it's your action items, your to-dos, they're your checklist that you want to have on every single job, your bid packages, your estimate line items, just your file folders. It's the little things to set up early that are going to save you time on the back end.
Yeah, I tell people, with the on-site visit, obviously we create a standard operating procedure for our on-site clients. That's a Word document. There's a flow chart that goes with it as well too. But really we create two standard operating procedures with most of my on-site visits. It's, hey, we are creating templates. We're creating that to-do process as well, that checks and balances, right? We're having a schedule, checks and balances. We're having an estimate template in there. And really we're creating two processes at one time. You should have your standard process in Buildertrend within templates.
Totally. And that was actually a follow-up question. It's just what kinds of tools do the on-sites actually give contractors when they do go on their visit? And then what do they walk away with?
Yeah, so I mean, the bulk of it is going to be that guidebook, which is like the written out version of what your company does inside of Buildertrend. Beyond that, I think the biggest benefit is getting everybody in a room to decide on what these procedures should be. Everybody can kind of have their input and get their questions answered. And what I always tell my clients is I kind of like to teach them how to fish as well, quote unquote. So I want you to know kind of how Buildertrend thinks and kind of how to manipulate it in a way that works for you as well.
And one thing Ryan forgot to mention there is the implementation guide as well too. So throughout the 2 days when we're on site, there will be a lot of number of small tasks and then larger tasks that the builder would need to do after the fact. What we give is a 2-week, 4-week, and 6-week breakdown about how to be successful going forward. So we do give you the ability to basically have a checklist then of those items, because it is a lot of items there, but a very underutilized thing. And then often those builders will continue to use that document going forward, almost as a rainy day stuff. Like, hey, maybe we should come back to taking a second look at the selections here now that we have a little bit more time during the off season.
Okay. We're starting to get into some specific questions, so I'll let kind of each of you take your topic here today. Are there any sales forecasting sold jobs reports on the roadmap? The sales reports currently, are the reports and filters that we currently have. So how can we manage that within Buildertrend today? And then do you guys know if anything's coming?
I do not know off the top of my head if that's going to be something that is going to be coming in the future. I do know with our advanced Buildertrend analytics, that is something that we could definitely build out, showing the reporting, showing the forecast, a true forecast there. So it is something that we offer. That Buildertrend analytics is an additional service there, but I do know that we can build out extremely detailed financial forecasting inside of that.
Yeah, the analytics, those reports are really cool. I've seen some really cool project management reports. I've seen some really cool financial sales reports. And really it's any data point that you can take in Buildertrend that analytics can turn into some kind of report that they can create for you, or you can create yourself.
So, in Buildertrend, can we send progress reports automatically to a client, and for a client to accept changes? Do we have that ability to interface with our customers in that way? And if we do, can you guys show what that would look like?
I can kind of take this one. So I mean, within the homeowner portal, we do have daily logs that are able to be shared with the homeowner. It's not going to be an automatic update, but what a lot of builders that I've worked with like to do is sit down every Friday, put together a daily log with what's happened that week, any updates, progress photos of the progress that they've made, and then you can choose to share that with the homeowner and publish it on their portal for them. And then as far as like changes electronically, we can produce change orders within Buildertrend using the change order feature, and you do have the option to then send that to the client as long as they're active within the program, and they can sign off on those changes electronically. Beyond that, I mean, we can even go as far as signing up for our payment processing platform, and then you can actually have that invoiced automatically upon approval. So then you're collecting the money right away as well.
I think to add to that, I'm not sure exactly what that question was pointing to specifically, but even just like progress updates of the schedule, right? As long as your project managers are keeping on top of the schedule, your active clients, you can share that schedule with them and they can see those updates as well too.
We do have that homeowner portal that is available, or client portal that is available on all jobs. And again, you're going to have opportunity to create what that experience is for your customers. So if you want to show them everything, if you want to show them just some things, you're going to have full control over that. And you can definitely talk to your account manager if you'd like to figure out a good game plan for what 2025 could look like with how to improve and upscale your customer experience. So
I think one thing to add to that as well is when you are setting up these client portals is really having a client's kind of expectations meeting or an initiation meeting with your clients and setting the expectations of what that portal is going to look like and what they should be interacting with and where they're going to see that information. We find is very helpful.
This is kind of coming from a couple different places, this next question. But Ryan, you specifically talked about how the schedule and to-dos can help communicate updates on the job. Can you talk a little bit more about like what are those specifics that can help like laborers stay up to date on, what they're due that day, or how the owner or project manager can stay up to date of what's going on in the field? Can you talk about some of those tools and resources that you talk about?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, so within the schedule item and to-dos, I mean, you can assign these things to certain people. So you can assign them to your project manager, assign them to your laborers, and then they can kind of look at their schedule every day, whether it be on the mobile app or the full site, and kind of see where they're supposed to be, what needs to be done. And then as those changes happen, if the project manager goes in and adjusts the schedule, it'll make those live changes for everybody else. So they should always kind of know what they should be, like the big picture things on the schedule. And then the to-dos, since we can link those due dates to the schedule, as things kind of fluctuate, your checklists are going to move as well. So just best practice. I mean, me, Sunday night, I'm already looking at my work schedule for the week to kind of start to prepare. But Monday morning, if you get into Buildertrend, you're looking at your schedule, you're looking at your to-dos. You should always be the most live and up-to-date like action items. And as far as the template level, I kind of mentioned placeholders. This is a way to, maybe we have 10 project managers and we on the schedule or on the template, we know a project manager is going to be doing certain items, but we don't know which one. Well, we can set up like a ZZ project manager internal user and not have like an email or anything associated with that. But then you can assign that placeholder to those specific items, whether it be schedules to do, so on and so forth. And then once you create the job, I know, hey, John's going to be doing or managing this job. You can go into the job details, the internal users tab, and use that mass reassign button to then take all of those items and assign it to John all at once. And again, saving you clicks, saving you time on the back end. Does that kind of answer your question?
Oh, 100%. Like you said, it's, and this is going to kind of lead into the next question of getting that buy-in. So it's kind of like, Buildertrend can offer these tools and offer all these ways, but if I'm a contractor and, I'm committed, my office manager is committed, how do I get the rest of the team committed? What do I do? And what are some of the biggest pieces of advice that you give contractors that are struggling to get their team involved, to get their subs involved, or to get their clients involved using Buildertrend?
Yeah, I guess my biggest piece of advice would be to start small. A lot of the barrier or resistance that we find, or at least I find with internal users, is this is going to be hard. It's going to be complicated. This is a tool that's going to take more time out of my day than I already don't have enough time. If you start small with one feature, let them kind of, get a login to Buildertrend, start using that feature, and they get comfortable with it. And then they kind of see, oh, this isn't difficult at all. It's actually saving me time. And then you kind of start to add features to what they're using. And it's more of a marathon than a sprint in that sense, but start small.
I think
I think
also,
also
you go ahead.
No, Chad, you go.
All right. I think also making it fun for the guys too, doing it like a contest or something along those lines that, hey, everyone who does a daily log or anytime you do a daily log, your name gets entered in a drawing for a Chipotle at the end of the week, just a little incentives for the guys to have the buy-in inside of it. But I like what Ryan was saying though, starting small and working your way up. I think that it is like a staircase like that. If you introduce it all at one time, I do think that people get overwhelmed and they just shut down with it. So, all right, we're doing daily logs this week. Okay, now we're doing the time clock next week. Then we're uploading photos the following week, type thing like that. You go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, I think it also comes down to expectations, right? And the guys in the field clearly knowing why they're doing this, what's the reasoning behind it, and what they're being asked to do. Right. So I post a daily log, and in the field, the guy's going, well, why do I need to post this daily log? It doesn't make sense. I have the pictures on my phone. I can tell them what happened. Well, you're posting this daily log so that it is visible to the client. The client will get an update on it. Us in the office, we don't have to go to the job site or anything. We're able to see this information right here. We're able to communicate. We're able to get on top of things faster. We're able really understanding the why behind it is the biggest thing. And I think helps with the guys in the field and really making them realize that what they're doing is making an impact on the business and making our lives easier or better.
I love that. All right. That is another question just popped in. Let's see here. Do you have any? Harold, I'm not sure of your question specifically. Maybe if you could add a little bit more context to that and we can get that answered for you. And if we don't get to one of your questions today, we will for sure email out and get in contact with you guys directly if we don't get something out. Maybe this will hit with you guys a little bit more. Do you guys have tech stacks that are specific to the size of the company or number of employees?
What does tech stacks mean?
And maybe he means like the equipment that they're using. We specifically don't have tech stacks to offer, but I mean, a lot of the companies that I work with are utilizing some sort of like iPad or what do they call those? The like notebooks, the Microsoft books. I don't know what they call them. Yeah. And they're using some sort of that because in the field, I mean, obviously the mobile app is really good for certain things, but project managers probably need to be able to access the full site for, more important information. So it's a combination of both.
Awesome.
I know there were a couple hands that were kind of popping up as well too. So if you guys have your hand up, make sure you put that in the Q&A.
Yep, great call out. Thank you. We do have a couple minutes left. Overall, what would be your guys' biggest advice for 2025 and really getting like started on the right foot and really getting, everything aligned with Buildertrend for the new year?
So make sure you have a good process in place. Make sure you know what you're doing when you're going into this, whether that's a process of like what we do of documenting with the Word documents, or making sure that everybody in your company has a clear role and a clear designation of what they're doing and what they're expected to do within there. Also, I think from the Buildertrend side of it is having a solid template that you can build out and be able to use on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and I agree 100% with everything Danny said. I think ambiguity just makes for loss all the way around. And if you can actually define who's supposed to be doing things at every step, then that's a game changer.
I agree.
Awesome. Well, we're kind of rolling up. Sorry, everything's kind of popping off right now. All right. If you guys don't have any last piece of advice right now, we'll get to all those other questions specifically. A lot of those are kind of more technical related. We have some great resources and articles for you guys to be able to kind of discuss all those things. But thank you guys so much. And I hope everyone has a great 2025 and a great holiday.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Everybody. Happy holidays.
Bye.
Are we staying?